Oh, hi. Hello. Sorry.
Hey,
It's
hey,
us.
we're
It's
here.
it's Thursday, and you know what that means. That
What?
it's
What?
the day after Wednesday and the day before Friday.
It's pre-Friday.
It's
Yeah,
pre-Friday. So
pre-Friday.
here we are.
Friday Eve.
Fridays. I like that one. Friday Eve. Samantha for the win. Okay. So tonight it's Night Terrors Radio. It's Thursday. Where else would you want to be other than with us?
Yeah.
So I think tonight we're going to have a great show. Joining me from the Midwest contingent tonight, we have Ash's not, you know, well, actually, way more attractive brother joining us with tonight.
It's
Look,
true.
he does have a bigger beard. You do
Yes.
have a bigger beard. And also, we have Sam coming in with us from out in Illinois in the Midwest contingent. Uh, we're glad that we can see you and hear you tonight. I know last time we had a little bit of an issue with that. Um, I
Yeah.
am Rob. We are here with Night Terrors Radio, Scareplex.com, horror-fix.com. Am I forgetting any of the other .coms that we're part of?
Probably we'll add another one at some point.
SendRobADollar.com. Can we do
Yeah,
that? Or
that's a good one.
are we allowed to do that? Okay.
Send Flint a
Send
dollar.
Flint. Okay. Yeah. Send
We
Flint
do
a
have
dollar.
whereSeanMiller.com.
We okay. So we have
There's nothing there right now, but we have it.
well because Sean's missing.
Yes,
That's why there's nothing there.
of course.
So, so again, thank you for joining us Thursday night. We are excited about tonight's show. Joining us in a little bit is going to be Jason Milton. Jason has kindly agreed to come on our show. He has no idea what he's in for, but he was a finalist in the Ghost Hunters reboot. When they were getting ready to reboot the show, Jason was up for one of the lead roles in that. He owns Ghost Show TV on YouTube, and he is also the producer for another paranormal show on Travel to Dead on, I believe it's also on YouTube, YouTube TV. So Jason will be joining us in a little bit. We are looking forward to having a chat with him. But I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in forever, so I feel like we need to check in. How you guys doing?
Good, good.
Yeah.
Busy,
Doing
but
good.
good.
What's going on in your world, Sam? What you were telling us that you got you're working on some filming projects right now.
Yeah, actually got a main lead. It's pretty excited with Joshua Brucker
Very
and Horror Dads.
okay. Where are we going to be able to see that?
I don't know where all he's planning to stream yet.
Okay.
We're still figuring that out.
All right. Well, keep us up to date on that. How's your week been so far?
It's been busy. I've done a lot of filming last weekend, and I'm getting ready for a big cosplay event this weekend.
Okay. Where's that? Okay.
That's in Springfield at the Hoagland Center
Okay.
downtown. Yep.
The what is it? Route 66 Film Festival.
Get,
Get your flicks
yeah,
at
get your
Route
flicks of 66.
66.
Yeah, that's
There
me
you go.
excited. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Scareplex will be there as well.
Okay. We're
So,
going to be having a booth at this
yep,
one.
we
Okay.
will have a booth at this one. Yep.
All right. Who's going down for that part?
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'm sure Ash will be there too.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to keep some stickers on me, even though I want to be like in 4 different costumes.
Well, I don't have any stickers yet. Ash didn't mail any my way, so but I have been pushing. We are working towards getting Scareplex out to more and more people.
Yeah.
So, how's your week been, Steve?
Oh, good. Busy always.
Yeah, I've been.
Always.
I've really been looking forward to this. I don't know. I mean, like Thursday nights are cool. Like when we get to do the show.
No, me too. I can't wait to hear what kind of Florida man drama and excitement we have.
Oh, well,
Should we get right into
I
that?
think.
Should
I think.
I roll the crypt?
I think we need to roll that beautiful beam footage. Go for it. I think we're good. Okay, so this week, Florida man, he doesn't disappoint. Florida man
Not
attempts
at all.
not at all, not even a little. Florida man attempts clean getaway from police hiding in McDonald's dumpster. Okay. First, before I even get into the story, I can think of about 500 places right off the top of my head that I would rather hide than inside a fast food company dumpster.
Yeah, like a sewer.
I would climb through the pipe that Andy Dufresne crawled through in Shawshank all day long. I would rather be in there than in a fast food dumpster.
Over a McDonald's dumpster?
Oh, I mean, I would rather get root canal inside that tunnel while having to listen to Milli Vanilli songs.
Yeah, it's just a dumpster full of hepatitis and AIDS. So.
I mean, it is just ugh. So it says Danilo Martinez. I hope I'm saying that right, Danilo. I hope we've got your Junior. Sorry, I don't want to offend Senior. Yeah. Senior hides out in Red Lobster dumpsters. A little bit classier than the McDonald's dumpster. Not much, but a little. So apparently, Danilo Melendez Jr., according to Fox 35, it began with Melendez riding his bike around in Avon Park, Florida. He apparently caught the eye of some deputies because his bike had no lights or reflectors. So he had a suspicious homemade wagon in tow. Please define suspicious homemade wagon.
Do they have pictures of it? I doubt
they
do.
They do not have a picture of said wagon, and I'm really upset about that.
We got a picture of this guy, though.
Oh, of Danilo? Yeah. He's a charmer.
He looks like a dumpster rider.
He does. Looks like somebody that would be in a dumpster.
He's got the 215 on one cheek and the cross on the other cheek. I don't know what he was looking for. I don't know. Just doesn't look good.
I think he was trying to be part of MS-13 and he just messed up.
Could be.
I've seen some sketchy characters in those dumpsters.
Sam, do you spend time running around looking in dumpsters, yeah. Sam? Is that our...
I might have done some dumpster diving when I was little.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
That sounds right.
But
in Florida.
Did you have Did you have a suspicious homemade wagon?
Unfortunately, no.
Let us not forget that Sam originates from Florida.
That's okay. She
is a cryptid herself.
She was smart enough to leave. That makes her,
less cryptid.
Yeah.
But so again, I really want to know what was suspicious about his wagon. I mean, did it have a dead body on it? Was it labeled suspicious wagon? Not radio flyer, but suspicious wagon?
That's a good question.
You don't know, right? So the deputies, after seeing him with no lights, no reflectors, and said wagon, they decided to unleash their dog on him. So the furry detective promptly sniffed around Melendez's wagon and signals the deputies, that there was something in the wagon that keyed the dogs. So Melendez food, drugs, something. Melendez, in a stroke of sheer genius, decided to play it cool. He insisted the wagon contained nothing more than harmless tools. I mean, you can't blame a guy for trying, but the deputies were not so easily fooled. So they cracked open the mysterious wagon, and what did they find? Fentanyl, prescription pills, and syringes. That's what made the wagon suspicious. So he decided
wacky cheeseburgers.
He decided that he was going to run from the deputies and the dog. And the article is great because it says, in true Florida man style, he went for the cozy comforts of a McDonald's dumpster. So, yeah.
Oh, I thought he was trying to use a dumpster as a wagon.
Oh, no. He was trying to get away.
That explains a lot.
He was trying to get away from the police and decided that said dumpster was
Okay.
Better than a jail cell.
Well, I'm special.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take the jail cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get 3 meals in the jail cell, right? Although I don't know how many meals you could get out of the McDonald's dumpster. But I just don't get it. I don't understand why you would want to do that.
I wonder how he outran the dog.
Oh, and then,
Probably good, though. The dog would have had to been put down afterwards, and nobody wants that.
right.
No.
And you know what the amazing part of this thing is? There's a second story attached to this that I didn't see.
Is there really?
Florida man wearing only a loincloth and socks smashed into several vehicles and tried to outrun a helicopter before crashing into the Flagler County landfill.
Hey, it was near a Popeyes.
This is amazing. Do they have a picture of this dude? Yes, they
They
do.
do. There's a video.
Okay, can we watch the video, please?
Let's watch the video. Let's see if we can get this. Maybe.
Oh, come on, please work. I really want to.
Come on, not Ash.
I really want to see this video.
No, it's not gonna.
Oh,
It's not gonna play.
but I mean, you can.
There he is, though.
Yeah, he's doing his best. Like,
I think he just stole the shirt off of a clothesline or something.
right. It kind of does, right?
Wrapped it around himself.
He's sort of doing like a poor man's George of the Jungle right there, isn't he?
Right. He's got the nice sunglasses and that nice necklace there too. You probably can't see it unless you got a bigger screen, but
that's beautiful stuff right there. That is
Very nice.
Yeah, I mean, when you get 2 stories in a row, Florida man like that does not
2
disappoint.
for 1 Florida man tonight.
Oh yeah, look at that. He's kind of got that he almost has like that lead singer of a grunge band look going, doesn't he?
It does.
Yeah. Like Hide and Dumpster from Seattle. That could be the name of it. Hide in the Dumpster from Seattle. All right. So that was Florida Man for this week. But
look at that.
So before Jason gets a chance to join us, can you zoom in a little bit on it, or?
Yeah, let's see if I can get any more. That's too much. All right.
Oh well. Well, Jason's going to be joining us. Oh, look, there's 2 puppies.
Yeah. They like to crash the streams.
That's okay. So we know Flint. Who's the other one?
That is Camo. He's a whippet.
Okay. So before Jason gets a chance to join us, I know he's going to be logging on here very shortly. He did say he would be with us, around 9:15. Let's talk a little bit about the show that we did 2 Thursdays ago, and that was the Scareplex show. I've had a lot of people come up to me here in the Rochester area that I've turned on to Scareplex, and many people have just, really come in and said that this is, a great service. So we need to remind people that we're out there for scareplex.com absolutely every time we get a chance, because it is, an opportunity for people to tune in and see some new stuff.
Oh yeah, it's a great place to go and see things from creators from all over.
And then the other thing that I wanted to mention, and I hope you'll work with me on this one and kind of go where I go with it. Have you seen the news this week about the alien mummies that were in Mexico?
Oh yeah, of course.
And how?
I did not see that.
Okay, so apparently a UFO hunter from Mexico found these 2 bodies or beings, however you want to look at it, in Peru some time ago, and he has been touting them as alien specimens. So he went before the Mexican Congress, which I'm sure is very much on the up and up. Sure, there's absolutely no corruption in the Mexican Congress. 0. And they actually they asked if there he is. There's one of the aliens right there. I don't know if that's Clara or the other one. They have names. I don't remember the other one's name, but I know Clara because the Mexican government asked for some testing to be done on these alien creatures, and it came back. This, I'm sure, again, very reputable doctor did CT scans and X-rays, and his findings were that these were 100% biological beings, and that they were they bore no connection to anything on Earth that would have had a Darwinian evolution chain. So I don't know, where that leaves us, other than, this guy says, that these were creatures that are not of.
And then they also appeared to be male and female
Right.
as well, right?
Now,
and the female, go ahead,
is alive.
Right.
The female one, Clara, is alive. Now, she doesn't look alive in this picture.
No, not at all.
But what they're saying is that when they did whatever scans they did on her, that she appears to be in gestation. There appears to be micro aliens inside her, and she is
3 of them,
right? 3 of them. So again, I am 100% sure that Mexican Congress would never lie to us about anything. And I'm also 100% sure that said doctor was highly credible.
I mean, of course.
But I mean, I guess what the thing that got me was they are willing to let these specimens be tested now by whoever. Apparently there's going to be some sort of, right, there you go. Yep.
There's the eggs there, supposedly.
Yeah, and it shows like this weird structure, bones or whatever it may be that that they have for their structure. But the last word I heard was that they are going to allow these things to be tested by any scientist that wants to test them. However, said scientist has to travel to Mexico City to do so. They're not going to.
Let's just go down there.
Right. Doctor.
No one will know. We'll just
Road
say
trip.
we're scientists.
Dr. Steve, Dr. Sam, let's go. What are you doctors of? Does it really matter?
Biology.
We're scientists.
Of course.
Self-proclaimed scientist.
Right. Absolutely. I'm a paranormalist.
Yeah.
There you go. I think that's something.
I got my doctorate online.
I'm sure there's a place where you can do that. 100.
I mean, I've married people before, so I'm a reverend like 3 times over.
There you go.
Should be
there
good.
There you go.
Oh, I think we've got Jason coming in with us.
Oh, fantastic. So let's real quick wrap this up about the alien, the living aliens apparently down in Mexico, and then welcome Jason in. Hey, Jason, how you doing?
Pretty good. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
We were just talking about the living aliens in Mexico.
It's a fascinating story. Like really excited to see how that turns out.
Like you weren't here for this, but I'm sure you'll share my opinion. The Mexican government would never, ever lie to us about anything.
Nothing at all.
I'm sure this is all on the up and up, 100%. So thank you for joining us, Jason. I gave a quick bio for you before you came on, but why don't you run your bio down for everybody that's tuning in tonight?
Yeah, I am primarily, I guess I would refer to myself as a documentary filmmaker. I work for PBS actually as my day job, making long form documentaries and some short form segments for them. But my paranormal journey really started, oh, wow, a long time ago now. I went to an event at a haunted location near where I lived, called Rolling Hills Asylum, and back then I really didn't. I would call myself a complete skeptic at that point. I was like, this is all smoke and mirrors. Nothing is going to happen. It's just, this is just a gimmick. And I went there for a tour, and I experienced a lot of stuff that I really couldn't explain. And I got like drawn into the place. So I started volunteering there actually, and just craved. I wanted to experience what I experienced there the first time again, and just kind of figure out what it was. And that drove me to try to frequent as many locations as humanly possible, all on the search of just kind of trying to come to grips with the things that I've been experiencing. And it's something that never really left me. So I've been, doing paranormal investigations for a long time. And through that, we've kind of met some, I guess, what you would call para celebrities. And we were encouraged when A&E was rebooting Ghost Hunters to this is me and my my paranormal partner. I'll call him. His name's Jeremiah. We've been doing this together this whole time. We were encouraged to audition for the A&E reboot of Ghost Hunters, and so we did, and we got pretty far in the process. But as sometimes it goes in entertainment, the network didn't particularly like us that much, and we got pitched around for a few paranormal shows, and after a few rejections, we were like, why are we waiting around for somebody to make a show with us when we kind of do this for a living? And so we just decided to start our own paranormal series, which we launched. It's called Ghost Show. We have 2 episodes out now. There are a bunch in production as we speak. And through that, through that process and doing that, I've met a whole bunch more people, and actually was brought on about a year ago to be the head of post-production and a producer on Katrina Weidman's paranormal series called Travel the Dead, which has actually taken up a lot of my time, and the reason there's only 2 episodes of Go Show out right now. But so yeah, that's pretty much my paranormal journey. I for myself personally, I am just searching for, I want to experience as much as I can in this field. And because I've been making documentaries for most of my adult life, I'm driven with the urge to capture what I experience on camera, just so that I can prove to everybody else that I'm not crazy.
Well, I know that you full open disclosure. You and I know each other.
Yes.
We have met. You have investigated Union Tavern, which is one of my favorite places to investigate. And I remember when you did like a launch party for your episode there, and
Mhm.
I mean that place was packed for that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that people are excited to get more Go Show episodes out there.
I will say I'm working on I'm working on editing one right now that should be done very soon.
Can you talk about it, or
I can talk about it, because the best thing about Ghost Show is that it's my own show, so I can do whatever I want about it. So the next episode that we're going to be releasing for Ghost Show is at Pratt Opera House in Albion, New York, and
Okay.
it was this was a location that kind of fell into our lap. We were doing research on another location, and the manager of that location was just like, there's this place really close by that you guys got to check out too. And just logistically, the original location we were doing pre-production on like kind of fell through, but we took a look at this place, and it is just an absolutely beautiful building and has some really compelling stories. And for me, Ghost Show, the angle we take with producing it is a little bit different. Like, I'm really interested in going into a location, hearing the claims that people have had, and then essentially trying to either debunk or experience similar things. So, a lot of times people will come to us and be like, you got to check this place out, it's so old and creepy. I'm just like, well, has anybody experienced anything paranormal in it? And a lot of times they're like, well, not my friend's friend. And I'm just like, well, if I can't find a source of a person who's like experienced it for themselves, like, I don't really want to go down that road until I can find like a person who's actually experienced something and really delve into, because I mean, how it is in the paranormal. You go into a place and you could be there for 12 hours and experience nothing. And if you know nothing about the place to begin with, and you're just exploring a creepy space, like how do you even conduct an investigation like that? So it's we were blown away by this location when we first visited it, and our investigation was crazy. I mean, I can't wait for the evidence to get out there, because it's some pretty compelling stuff happened. I was affected maybe the most I ever have been. I actually had to stop for a little bit, which has never happened to me before. So it was a pretty eventful night for us, and the episode is really good. Can't wait for it to be done.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it now, because that's a place that I have not heard of before.
Well, I hadn't either, and they're like kind of in their infancy of a paranormal location. The person who owns it, his name's Mike, and he bought the building to save it, because they were essentially going to strip it. There is a excuse me, there's an opera house from the turn of the century, with the exception of the seats, that is perfectly on the third floor of that building, and it's beautiful. And they were just gonna tear it apart, but Mike bought it to save it. Excuse me, sorry, I had something in my throat. Mike bought it to save it, and it just happens that he's been experiencing so much paranormal activity that he brought in a paranormal team, and they are kind of allowing other teams in there now as well.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So I know that, Sam and Steve, they don't really have a whole lot of, experience in investigating the paranormal, but one of the things that you said really resonates with me. And you and I think, talked about this before, and that is when someone says, "Oh, you should go check this place out. It's really creepy." And then you say, "Okay, tell me about it. What's creepy about it?" "Oh, it's really old, and it's old, and you won't believe how old it is."
Old is a great adjective for this field.
And then, well, did you experience anything there? And then all of a sudden you get, the scene from Ferris Bueller with, well, my cousin had a friend who once bought a puppy from a guy whose next door neighbor's best friend's uncle went in there. Mm-hmm. And he said,
that's like in Rochester, we have, which is where I live, we have the White Lady of Durand Eastman Park, which, Rob, I'm sure you're very familiar with. But
absolutely,
that's one of those, I do so many interviews just about that story, and people, because I'm a paranormal investigator, they want to get my take on it. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, have you ever actually met anybody who has experienced that? It's always somebody's friend or somebody's uncle, or, oh yeah, it's always a step or two removed. And I mean, at this point, I feel like it's just a legend.
It's an urban legend.
Yeah, I shatter so many people's dreams with that story. I do a presentation at a couple places, and we talk about, again, it always comes up, White Lady. And I love to see people's faces when I shatter their dreams about it. When I tell them, listen, it was a hot dog stand at the old zoo. It was never a house. It wasn't a castle. It was a hot dog stand. Yay.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a great story. If it were actually true, it would be, it would be amazing.
Right. You and I would be just camped out down there all the time. We would never leave. We would just, be capturing evidence every night and move along. But so talk to us a little. So for those of us, the people that don't know, Rolling Hills it's an old asylum. It's kind of in between Rochester and Buffalo, but a little south of both.
Yes.
So it is southwest of Rochester, southeast of Buffalo, and it is been featured on quite a few of the television shows. And I know you did more than just investigate it the one time. You worked there for a little while.
Yeah, so I was a tour guide, and I volunteer there still when I have the time. Obviously, it's not as prevalent as time is not as abundant as it once was for me. But when I have time, I like to go out there and lead tours and help new investigators kind of discover what investigating is all about. Because that's what I loved about the place, was that it's a really cool location in the sense that even on a public hunt, they let you kind of just roam the building and explore it on your own, which in a lot of, I'll call them like paranormal, locations, that you can buy a ticket and go to. Sometimes that's not always the case. And it really allows you to kind of cut your teeth in paranormal investigating without, having to spend an arm and a leg to rent out a place privately and have the place to yourself. And yeah, I mean, so it's one of those places where I've been to it probably, I don't, at this point, probably like 300 times. And every single time I'm there, something either happens directly to me or to somebody who's also there. It's just such an active location. And I have no idea why. It's, a lot of horrible things happened at the place just because it was, it started as an almshouse and was eventually an infirmary. And, turn of the century medicine was a little bit more unfavorable than it is now. So some questionable practices were going down. But I don't know. There's just something about that place. There's a huge like electric transformer next door that this is all me theorizing, but I think that has something to do with it. I think that there's, the amount of electromagnetism passing through that station is, leaking over there or something like that, because it's just, every time I get at least 2 or 3 EVPs, which is, in this field, pretty unheard of.
So I know what you mean by electromagnetism and EMF field, but I don't know can you break that down a little bit for us? I've done it before on past shows, but I'm curious to hear your take on it.
Yeah, well,
And
I
also,
mean,
along with that, Jason, too, could you kind of elaborate a little bit on what you think, how that electricity affects it?
well, with paranormal investigating, there has yet to be a consensus on anything, and so everything is just a lot of theorizing. And something, with any sort of scientific method, when you can try to apply those things to it, you look for patterns. And a pattern that has sort of emerged in this field is that when paranormal activity is happening, there seems to be fluctuations in the electromagnetic field surrounding the area of a paranormal occurrence. So as paranormal investigators, one of the things we carry around is usually an EMF meter to try to, get a baseline reading of a building or a location and see if there are any unexplainable fluctuations. Now, there's usually EMF around us at all times, like every single electronic appliance gives off a certain level of EMF, but usually with an EMF meter, you can trace like, okay, I'm getting an EMF signal here and trace it back to that particular spot. But if there are
one of the
like,
worst is like clocks, nightstand clocks, your clock on your stove, your clock on your microwave. You would not believe how much EMF those things throw off.
and to add to that, a lot of these haunted locations are really old buildings, which have notoriously bad wiring, which bad wiring means more EMF kind of floating around in the ambient air. But the theory is essentially that if you can find EMF fluctuations that cannot be traced to a source, it's possible that could be something paranormal. The theory is that spirits are either made of or manipulating electromagnetic energy. And there's also theories that they might be feeding off of electromagnetic energy that is ambient in an area. So theoretically, if there is a lot of electromagnetism in a spot, a spirit or something could feed off of that and give you some sort of paranormal occurrence. On the flip side of that, some people are super sensitive to electromagnetism. So say, for instance, if I was really sensitive to it and I were to walk into a basement with horrible shielding on wires, like I could feel sick or get paranoid or even hallucinate. So that adds a little bit of complication to that theory as well, in terms of what's real and what isn't in terms of that.
Yeah, the Russians did a study back in I think it was the late 60s, early 70s, where they determined that electromagnetic field can cause headaches, dizziness, paranoia, like just this whole long list of things, aches and pains in your joints, hallucinations, all these different things. And I think we're like so many people that want to doubt the paranormal latch onto that study, and they don't latch on to where it came from or who did it. These are the fine people that brought us Chernobyl.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm not 100% sold on the study, other than the fact that, you know, in years of paranormal investigating, I have found some houses where there's really not a whole lot going on, but the EMF is just out of control.
Isn't there a theory that people even put off some type of electromagnetic field as well? So, like, wouldn't it? I mean, I'm just throwing stuff out here, but like, if a spirit wanted to contact somebody, they might need that electricity, that energy to do so.
Well, we all conduct electricity. We are conductors, so theoretically,
Right. I think
like,
that's what I was trying to say.
it's not implausible.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I think that hello, ethereal voices, paranormal. How are you? Someone just chimed in and said hello. Well, hello. Yeah, you're on with Jason and Steve and Sam and I. So put in a question if you want. You know, I think you and I have had these conversations before. I mean, when we go into a place like Union Tavern that has just such a weird electromagnetic field, that there's nights you walk in there that the meters are off the scale, and then there's other nights you walk in there you couldn't get a reading if you tried.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. Like sometimes, weirdly, the most compelling experiences I've had there have been times when there's no EMF at all.
Right. And it seems to just you know, and again, so I never knew that about the power transformer out by Rolling Hills, but that makes a lot of sense because, you know, as Steve was saying, one of the theories is that with this energy in the atmosphere, if spirits need that energy to manifest or to, you know, manipulate objects or sound or whatever it might be, it kind of would make sense that they would show up at a buffet like that.
Yeah, and I mean, it is worth noting too that within the building, the EMF at Rolling Hills is pretty minimal. But I mean, if you go outside and you go near that transformer, it goes off the charts. But inside the building, it's pretty low most of the time.
Again, most of the time. So you're not the only person that I've heard say that either, that there's times that there's spikes in that building.
And it's, I mean, I will say, so we did shoot an episode there of Go Show, and that'll be after the Albion Pratt Opera House one. And the first time I've ever actually seen something like investigating happened there that night that we were filming. And it was one of those things where I saw it, 3 people saw it at the same time. And I knew it was significant because the moment after it happened, my brain was trying to like rewire itself into explaining what it was. And like within a half hour, I was like, there's no way I saw that. And I was like, well, it's on camera. You saw it. It's there. Like, so it's, you know, that was something that was really special. And usually that location, like Rolling Hills, is primarily like I captured audio evidence there. So seeing something there for me was really, really special. Other people have seen stuff there as well, but for me, that was my first time visually seeing something.
So, all right, one paranormal investigator to another. Do you find it hard sometimes when you get that like really compelling piece of evidence to believe it, and you kind of step back and go, no, that didn't happen. That's not real.
The more compelling piece of evidence it is, the more I'm trying to reconcile with it as not real.
Okay. So we did an investigation recently, and I plain as day, heard a voice with my ears say, "Who's there?" So I played it back on my recorder, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, you can hear it so clear." And I'm like, that has to be one of you guys. It has to be one of you guys. There's no way that would, you know, like for a half an hour, they're all going, "No, we were not with you. Look at the camera. Look at the video. We're nowhere near." Melissa saying I took a lot of convincing on that one. Yes, I did. Because it's hard to explain to people that, like, when you do this, when you get that piece of evidence that's like right there, you're like, there's no way that happened. No way. I'm so used to sitting around for 8 hours, having to go through this videotape, this audio tape, this, nothing happens right there. And then when it does, you're like, okay, that has to be something else.
Yeah, well, especially when it's that clear. I mean, even, my times volunteering at Rolling Hills, sometimes I'm the only person there. And there have been times like, locking up the building at the end of the night at 4:00 in the morning. I'm walking out the door and I hear my name called just with my own ears. And I'm like, well, I'm the only person here. There's no explanation for that other than something unexplainable.
Right. Paranormal.
With that said, Jason, what's the creepiest thing that you've experienced?
Oh my gosh.
If you want to talk about it.
The creepiest thing I've experienced. That's tough. Well,
don't say meeting me. Do not say meeting me.
I will say, throughout my life, I've experienced things in general, and always was trying to explain away things. But this one story has always kind of stuck with me. When me and my now wife, but she was my girlfriend at the time, we lived in an apartment downtown in Rochester, and we were going to bed one night, and both got in bed, and this white ball of light just came out of one wall of our room, like floated over our bed, over the top of us, and into the wall behind us. And we both looked at each other and said, "What was that?" And both of us were like, "I have no idea what that was," but we both saw it, and I don't think either of us slept that night. That was probably the weirdest. I mean, I don't know what that could have been, with the exception of like ball lightning, but I don't know why it would be floating in the middle of a room in a house.
Yeah, that one's hard to explain away.
Come to find out that, I mean, this is, this might have nothing to do with it, but the block that we lived on in the 1800s was an orphan asylum, and the people who used to live in that apartment have had a whole bunch of paranormal experiences specifically in that room that I found out about after I started talking about this thing that we experienced. And I don't know, that one to me always just sticks out of my mind because it was something we saw, and that wasn't even like I wasn't even a paranormal investigator when that happened. Like, that was well before that. But you'd think with all these things, that and other things, like I would have gotten into this sooner, but I think that I wasn't quite ready to grapple with those questions yet.
I think it finds us, all right, if I'm allowed to kind of speak on this a little bit, I think it finds us when we're ready. I grew up having all kinds of paranormal experiences and all kinds of things happen. And then, in 1999, 2000, I had the opportunity to join a group, and I think it just showed up when I was ready to be able to handle it, I think. I don't think that myself before then would have been able to handle it. And I think at that particular point in time, I was ready. Do you kind of get that feeling as well?
Yeah. I mean, I remember that first night that I was at Rolling Hills, and I really kind of experienced stuff that I guess I'll say I was ready to start becoming less of a skeptic in the paranormal. I, turned to my wife and I was like, I don't know why, but I just feel like this is going to play a large part of my life. And I mean, at that point, I didn't know where it would take me, but I just knew that I would be doing this for a long time, and and that it would, be the part of. I just knew that it was going to be a part of my life because I just had this urge to find out more.
I need to plug one thing that you haven't plugged yet.
Okay.
YouTube Ghost Show.
Yes.
That's where you find it.
Yep. Ghost Show is a completely online digital series on YouTube. You can find it at youtube.com/ghostshowtv. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at Ghost Show TV as well. And our website is ghostshow.tv. So you can check it all out there. There is 2 episodes and some kind of bonus stuff streaming now. New episodes coming soon, I assure you, as soon as I can get them out the door.
All right, we're going to keep going with the conversation. I just wanted to make sure that, we want to make sure we're getting that out there for you as much as we possibly can.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a horrible promoter because, you start me talking about ghosts and I'll just talk forever. I don't even think about what I'm here to do.
That's all right. I do that.
So is Rolling Hills when what pushed you over to being a believer since you were a skeptic?
Yeah. I mean, I have such a hard time with the term believer because I'm always
Oh.
looking for like an answer. Like it's so hard because like I don't even know, like I come from a family of engineers, so I'm always trying to like find the scientific reason for stuff. And at this point I've experienced more that I can't explain, that at this point I just kind of accept that I can't explain it. I don't know that I mean, I guess I would call myself a believer in that sense, but I don't know that I can say that I talk to dead people like that. I can't like
Right.
wrap my head around that. Like for me, it's like there's something happening that I can't explain, and I probably never will be able to, but I'm addicted to experiencing those things and putting myself in situations where I'm really scratching my head.
Okay.
So I'm still skeptic-ish, but open. I'm an open-minded skeptic.
Okay.
Sam's
I
a complete skeptic.
I am. I just don't. I can't believe it.
well,
I want to.
I mean, it's like, it's hard because, I was once in that place where I was like, there's absolutely no way. And then, when you hear your name get called for the first time and you're the only person around, and then you can play it back on a recording and it's there still, like, what do you do with that?
Yeah. Like I went ghost hunting before because I want to experience something. And I took a bunch of pictures at night and I saw like the orb and everything, but I need that scientific explanation, if
Yeah,
that makes
well, I mean,
sense.
we could get deep into that stuff, but I've always thought, and this is just me trying to rationalize the things I've experienced, is that, there is a lot of scientific evidence that points towards different dimensions existing that we can't experience. And if it's possible that when we are experiencing something paranormal, that the layers between those dimensions are a bit thin at that moment in time and space, and you are not talking to a dead person, but experiencing another dimension that is not usually able to be seen or observed by us. And perhaps if you're interacting with something, they are also being able to see into this dimension. That to me, like that idea, while it absolutely cannot be proven, is a little bit easier for me to like wrap my head around from a scientific standpoint than these people are dead and we are now having conversations with them.
I got to ask you, because I don't think we've ever had this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you stand on orbs?
I don't generally believe in them at all.
Thank you.
Oops.
As a person who is as a documentary filmmaking, I spend a lot of time lighting things.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a very strong understanding of how light behaves, especially when it is being reflected into a lens, which is a spherical piece of glass. And more often than not, I've never seen an orb that I thought was paranormal, because I'm like, that is simply something reflecting off of a piece of dust or a bug into a lens. And because of how focal lengths worth of lens, which is what is in focus, it looks like a sphere, because with aspherical lenses, when things are out of focus, they become circles.
So you never think like when you're hearing your name that it could just be your imagination?
Well, that when I hear something, that isn't an orb.
Well,
Like, so,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, oh yeah. So, I mean, but it very well could be, which is why I wouldn't say that, I wouldn't ever present that as like a piece of evidence of like, here's something
Okay.
paranormal. I can say that like that is an experience that I had that I cannot explain. But until that,
But
I
if
can
you-
play a piece of evidence back for you that I experienced and was like, this is what it sounded like, there was nobody in the building except me, like that to me would be something that I would present to you as like, this is
Okay.
paranormal.
Yeah. So if you had a recorder on you and you heard your name called, and you could verify that there was no one else around, and then when you listened to your recorder, you heard your name, that would then become evidence.
It's a
Mhm.
EVP, right? That's
Well,
that-
if you hear it,
I don't know.
if you hear it in the room with you at the time, it's actually a disembodied voice.
Okay.
But
Okay.
if you don't hear it when in the moment and you play it back on a recording, and it is there, that would be an EVP.
My curiosity goes back to, and I say this all the time, I have a huge problem with most paranormal TV shows that are still in existence today, because they've changed from calling them orbs to calling them light anomalies. And we run around in our little sister's t-shirt, and we, scream and holler, like we ask stupid questions like, were you murdered? Because that's what you ask people when you meet them, in life. You just kind of randomly walk up to people and go, hey, I'm Rob, were you murdered? Because that's, just casual conversation.
And I'm making a light anomaly, Rob. Look.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
So I'm going.
So, I mean, I've gotten to see some of Jason's work, and I can tell you that he does not do that. That is not his style. It's not his. Jason, you really do try and find what's going on.
Thank you.
And then, we got a message from Mercedes in our chat that says, same thing. She experienced a lot of things when she was younger, and then after having kids, she was pulled back into it. So, it found her when she was ready. So, that's pretty awesome. That more of us are out there like that. That when this calling happens, it's when we're ready. It doesn't come to us when we can't handle it. It comes to us when we can, I think.
Absolutely.
So,
and I mean, to speak on what you were saying, Rob, about the shows, it's hard. I always explain to people, even like Ghost Show, for instance, like I like to say, like, this is a highlight reel. Like when we go into a location, we usually are spending 3 days there or something like that, if we can. I always like to spend multiple days at a location, because you never know what's going to happen, if you're even going to experience anything the first night, the second night. But when you're putting together something that is for entertainment, which is what these shows are, nobody wants to sit and watch you sit in a room in silence for an hour. And it's trying to put together the most compelling pieces of evidence that you capture. And we even put a disclaimer at the front of all of our episodes that we aren't saying that like this is paranormal. We're simply presenting our experiences and our interpretation of them. And everything is open to interpretation. But, because nobody knows anything. Like, there's no scientific way to prove any of this stuff. So for us to come out and be like, this is absolutely what it is, like, that's not okay.
Where do you stand on groups charging to investigate people's homes? Like there's been a new trend that I've seen that there are groups popping up now that say, we'll come investigate your home, but it's going to cost you $50 or $100. Where do you stand on that stuff?
What actual service are they providing? I don't know. Like I would never pay anybody to investigate my home, because like, I don't know. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, there's no, unless you're going to say that you're going to do this, and that, and provide some sort of service, I don't see a reason that should ever happen.
And what service could you provide?
Exactly.
Because, again, there is no proof. There's no proof.
And the other thing, a lot of, paranormal investigating, especially of like people's homes, I have found in my doing this, like, a lot of people who are genuinely afraid of what's happening, like they want you to make it go away, but we don't know how to do that. Like, you can never claim to like fix this.
You do the
best you can do, if they're genuinely, if you find some sort of natural explanation, like a high EMF or something like that, you can try to like say that it could be this. This could be the reason that you're feeling this way. Perhaps you are sensitive to electromagnetism. Or if there genuinely is something paranormal happening in the house, you can say, look, this can't hurt you. It is not alive. And try to make people comfortable with what is happening in their space. Because I can maybe count on one hand how many times I've truly been like afraid doing this. Like, it's not often, but you know, at the end of the day, it's usually when I'm afraid, it's myself making myself afraid.
Yeah, it's because you get in your own head,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's you causing you to have the issue.
Right.
So, I mean, I posit several, I put out several theories to people. But I say, I always preface them by saying, this is something that we've had some success with before. I never say this is going to cure your problem, because you know that predominantly what I do is private homes.
Right.
So, that's been my, so I never go in and say, listen, I'm going to solve your problem. I say, I'm going to go in and try and help you.
Right.
I'm going to try and help.
Right.
And, then I will give them my best guess or my best interpretation of what's going on, provide them with a full report of all the experiences that we had when we were there, any evidence that we may have captured. And then I might say, all right, here's my theory. If you'd like to try this, try this.
Yeah. And I mean, the work that you do is absolutely fantastic. I wish, I don't know that I could do that, because I have such a hard time grappling with the whole thing myself, that it's like, I feel like I'm too early in this journey to offer any sort of like rationalization or help to anybody. Like, I don't think that I could ever come in and help somebody like that.
I don't
so
think
it's commendable
so.
that
I think, if you ever, had spare time and you want to do a couple cases with MCPI, I think we'd get along just fine.
I would absolutely love to. Like, anytime you want, just give me a call. I'll be happy to join you guys.
So the fastest hour on the internet. Oh my God.
Always.
Like, all right. Dead honest. Did you realize it was like almost 10 o'clock?
No, not yet.
Like our time, 10 o'clock,
It goes
your
quick.
time, 9.
9,
the fastest hour on the internet. Absolutely.
Yeah, it goes by really fast. I mean,
Yeah.
I could talk about this stuff forever. So,
well, we are going to have you back on.
Whenever you want, let me know.
Okay, we are definitely going to have you back on when more episodes of Go Show TV hit YouTube. We would love to have you back. We would love for you to right now, though, if you could go through. I mean, Steve has been posting this throughout the entire show, like the Instagram, the YouTube. But if you could please just go through it one more time for us.
Sure. So we are on pretty much every platform as Go Show TV. So you can find the actual episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/GoShowTV. Or you can go to our website, goshow.tv, and that will link to the YouTube. You can find all of our episodes as well as the latest episode there. We're also on Instagram at Go Show TV and on Facebook at Go Show TV. We have a X or Twitter or whatever we're calling it these days, but we're not very active on that. So I won't push it very hard, but we are on pretty much every platform, and we have a TikTok as well, although I haven't posted on that in a while because it's hard to grapple with the realities of what TikTok is.
Yes.
most TikTok paranormal stuff is very like obviously fake. So it's like, I haven't figured out like how deep I want to get into like trying to put real paranormal things on a platform that is inherently people faking stuff.
I mean, if we could get a ghost to do like a 30-second dance routine, that would be TikTok right there.
I'm pretty sure if we could do that, then we could investigate any place in the entire world that we wanted to.
Yeah, it's true. And now, how about the other show that you're the producer for?
So that's Travel the Dead, and that's all on Katrina Weidman's YouTube page. So that is youtube.com/Katrina Weidman. And she's absolutely fantastic. I love working with her. So it's her and Heather Taddy that are a part of the show, and they both got their start on Paranormal State, which was, the competition to ghost hunters back in the day.
Yeah.
And Katrina went on to do Paranormal Lockdown with Nick Groff and Portals to Hell with Jack Osborne. And now she is heading her own series, Travel the Dead. And I serve as an editor and a producer on that.
Well, fantastic, man. Listen, I got to tell you that you and our paths don't cross as often as they should.
They really should. We should do more things.
And I'm really happy that you were able to come on the show tonight. Do you have a couple minutes for us off the air?
Yeah, absolutely.
Afterwards? Okay. All right. So as usual, faithful followers, our show is over. I know. Shed a tear.
Sad.
It is. It's weird that an hour goes by that fast. When I'm at work, an hour does not go by that fast.
Not at all. No.
Ever.
I'll say that it goes by that fast for me at work, but usually because I'm under deadlines that I'm not close to meeting. So, here's the thing. Tune back in. Come see us at horror-fix.com. Come see us at scareplex.com. Come see us at Night Terrors Radio on Facebook and YouTube. And just come see us. We talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. So join us, have a laugh, have some fun. So
We'll see you next time.
yeah.
thank you for having me so much.